Hey guys, HDvee here and welcome to a brand new video. Today we've got some stuff to go over for Pokemon Scarlet and Pokemon Violet. We have some new DLC rumors for the Generation 9 games, what we can expect to see in the expansion pack, new Paradox forms, returning Pokemon, the whole 9 yards, and then we have a few other bits and bobs to go over for Pokemon in general as well. So quite a lot of stuff to talk about. If you're excited for the video though, as always, make sure to drop a like down below. Let's try to hit 500 likes, it really helps out. Leave a comment with your thoughts on anything we cover in today's video. Subscribe if you're brand new for daily Pokemon content. Ring the notification bell. With all of that out of the way though, let's get into the video and I really hope that you enjoy. So, starting things off, let's go over this new DLC rumor for Pokemon Scarlet and Pokemon Violet. Again, it was posted on 4chan, so take it with a massive grain of salt. 99% of the times, 4chan rumors are false, but we do know there is somebody that does post on 4chan that actually has correct information because they leaked all of the trailers for the Generation 9 games literally like hours before they actually went live. So there is somebody on 4chan that does actually have legitimate information. Anyway, it starts off by being it's posted as Scarlet and Violet leaked by Anonymous. It was posted on the 17th of January. And it starts off with 4 new Paradox forms for the Generation 9 games. 2 past forms and 2 future forms. So we have Paradox Delmise, which is a future form. So I could definitely see Delmise getting a Paradox form. Like, because it already has that kind of like Paradox-esque about it with like the seaweed and stuff being like an old anchor, so maybe like a futuristic anchor could be like pretty cool. And then we also have Paradox Vikavolt, which is a past form, which again I could also see that happening because Vikavolt does kind of give off a futuristic vibe with just the kind of armor that it has and stuff, so I could see like a Paradox past version of that. And then it goes on to say Paradox Carbink, which is a past form inspired by Mega Diancie. So I think that's kind of taking into account the whole Roaring Moon situation. Like, Roaring Moon is based off of, or at least takes inspiration from Mega Salamence, and they even talk about that in like the Pokedex and stuff. So I think that might just be like copying that sort of idea that Carbink is also getting a past form, which is inspired by Mega Diancie. And then I think this really gives this rumor a red flag, saying Paradox Charizard future form. I don't think they would make a Paradox starter Pokemon a version exclusive, because starter Pokemon are quite a big selling point, and if they gave Charizard a future form, I think it would look insane. Like a metallized Charizard would look really sick, and I think everybody would want it, or most people. And so if it was just paywalled behind Violet, if you had Scarlet, you'd then have to buy Pokemon Violet, and then you'd have to buy the DLC. I mean, you'll have to do that for Paradox Suicune and Virizion anyway if you wanted both. But yeah, if it's a Charizard, I feel like the other game would have to have like a Paradox Blastoise or a Paradox Venusaur to like make it fair. And even then, I think it would still be kind of unfair, because Charizard is a massive fan favorite. I know a lot of people on the internet like don't necessarily like it, but in the grand scheme of things, it is a very loved Pokemon worldwide. So yeah, I don't think Scarlet owners would be too happy to see that. So I don't think they would give a Paradox version to a starter and make it version exclusive. It'd have to be in like both games, or you'd have to get like a Paradox form in Scarlet and one in Violet if they were going to do that. A little bit like Volcarona and Donphan and stuff. But either way, they are apparently the 4 new Paradox forms coming in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet's DLC. Next up, the story of the first DLC is after the Sada/Turo AI go to the future/past. They managed to awaken the 3rd legendary, and it's apparently going to be called Salamortis, which is an interesting name. I don't know how I feel about it, but either way, that's what we're going with. The player has to go in the broken blue door at the gate of Area 0 to plunge into the depth of Area 0. So, yeah, I mean, this is an actual location in Area 0. There's like an elevator thing that we can't actually access yet, so that's most likely going to be for the DLC. So, yeah, really interested to see like how deep we go into Area 0, which, again, I'm guessing when we go deep into it, it's going to have like new Pokemon, new Paradox forms. It's going to have the Paradox Suicune and Virizion. And then obviously it's going to have the 3rd legendary, and I reckon that Heath is going to be down there as well. Maybe the AI, I'm not sure. I know they went to the past and the future, but they could easily be in there as well. Or maybe even the actual real life versions of Sada and Turo. Anyway, yeah, you go down to the depth of Area 0 to face off against Salamortis. New Paradox Pokemon can also be encountered there. And I'm guessing by the new Paradox Pokemon, they're referencing these ones here. But again, I feel like that Paradox Charizard really doesn't help this rumor at all. The second DLC takes place in the blocked off area in the northeast part of the map. So this is a very safe rumor at the moment, just kind of going over stuff we're already expecting. Like, we're expecting to be going to Area 0 DLC. We're expecting to be going to that northeast part of the map DLC. And it's a shared between Paldea and Kalos. It's not Kalos like we've seen in X and Y, but we can see Prism Tower in the distance. I think that's what kind of I'm expecting. I'm not expecting to actually go back to Kalos. I'm expecting to like go to the very southern part of kind of Kalos that we couldn't actually access in X and Y. And then like it's very much like just a small area of something that then leads into Kalos, but we can see like maybe certain parts of Kalos in the distance and stuff. I think that'd be really, really cool. Obviously, I'd love to go back to Kalos, but yeah, I think it's going to be very much like the cutoff between Kalos and Paldea. But yeah, we can see Prism Tower in the distance. The story involves AZ, and we finally can get AZ's Floette. So yeah, they don't really go into detail about the story. They just say the stories are about these two things. So it's a very safe kind of 4chan room at the moment, because they're not actually giving us any real information. They're just kind of going over things that we already are really expecting. I mean, I don't know if AZ is going to be back. It'd be kind of cool if he was. And then he goes on to say Eevee will get a surprising evolution that you won't expect. So this is something that I really want to see in the Pokemon games for Paradox forms. Like, I think it'd be so cool if like we got a Paradox evolution of Eevee in Scarlet that was like a dragon type, and then we got a Paradox form of Eevee's like Steel evolution in Violet. So it'd give us two new evolutions. It'd be Paradox forms, and oh man, I think people would be all over the DLC if they did that. It'd be really, really cool to see. And again, we haven't actually had like anything leaked about the DLC in terms of what we can expect apart from Suicune and Virizion. So it very well could happen. I mean, very, very unlikely, but I think it'd be so cool to see something like that, because we were expecting an evolution in Gen 8. We didn't get one in Gen 9 either. So yeah, well, obviously you'll have to wait and see if that happens, but I would absolutely love to see that. There will be a way to edit your Pokemon. And again, I think this is just also playing it safe. Riddler-Q did tweet out saying there was like a PK Hex-like thing in the DLC, and I think that is what they're kind of talking here about, like being able to edit your Pokemon. I don't think you're going to be able to like create a Pokemon from scratch and then give it everything that you possibly need, like when you are hacking in a Pokemon. But I think there will be easier ways to edit Pokemon to maybe like remove IVs, EVs, stuff like that maybe. But yeah, I'm really interested to see what this whole like PK Hex-like thing is. And then the grind for money / Terra Shards will not be as much of an issue anymore. And again, I think we'll get stuff like that anyway, maybe with Herba Mystica as well. And then he goes on to say a battle facility is present and rewards Herba Mysticas and ability patches, which I'd really love to see. I'd like to see another way to obtain Herba Mystica. I don't think they'll make it like any easier than raids. Like, I think it will be difficult, like battle facilities and stuff like that. But yeah, I think a different way to raids would be a really cool way to get Herba Mystica. But every single rumor that I've covered have all said about a battle facility, so I don't know why everyone's kind of like proper raving and ranting about it. It could happen, we'll have to wait and see. But he then goes on to say Pokemon I know are returning are Pyukumuku, Politoed, Ludicolo, Squirtle, Bulbasaur, Watchog, and Pinsir. So yeah, Politoed, I mean, that would obviously mean that the Poliwag line is obviously coming back. Ludicolo would mean that obviously Lotad and Lombre. Squirtle and Bulbasaur are likely anyway. And then Watchog, obviously a Pokemon that hasn't been in the games for a very, very long time, isn't on the Switch yet. So a very random Pokemon to kind of say is coming back, but either way, it could happen. I don't think we'll see many Gen 5 Pokemon back in the DLC, because I think the Gen 5 remakes will probably be next, and they'll be saving them for those games. And then Pinsir as well, which again, I'm surprised Pinsir isn't in the game anyway, because Scyther is. Yeah, just kind of one of those things. But yeah, I don't know. As much as I kind of want this rumor to be true, I very much don't think it is. I think it's just a very safe rumor going over things that we're expecting to see and kind of already know because of like PK Hex stuff. I think I think if it didn't say Paradox Charizard here, I think I'd believe it a little bit more. But yeah, I don't see a world where one version gets a Paradox Charizard and the other one gets a Carbink. I just don't think that's a fair trade-off at all. I mean, Vikavolt and Dhelmise are fair, but yeah, Charizard for Violet and Carbink for Scarlet. No, I don't think that adds up very, very well. Moving on though, we have a few other things to go over. We have Poryleaks here tweeting out about this whole Nintendo thing. So it was Bloomberg tweeting out saying the Switch is 6 years old, but Nintendo's ramping up production as it bets on new games like Zelda. So yeah, Poryleaks tweeting out saying Nintendo plans to increase Nintendo Switch production to 21 million units in F23, increasing the production of special editions. Nintendo told suppliers and assembly partners to increase production starting in April, and then expect sales to diminish due to next-gen speculation. So yeah, I mean, this is what I mean, like, a lot of people are expecting a new Nintendo console next year, but now they're like vamping up the kind of productivity of these switches and stuff, and like creating more. So maybe it might even be a little bit longer until we see this new kind of Nintendo Switch console or whatever it is. They just seem to be just, I mean, I guess it's for the Breath of the Wild 2 game, which again will probably be one of the last biggest games for the Nintendo Switch before we move on to the next console. But yeah, the fact that they're kind of, I guess they're making all of these for the Zelda game, but either way, I don't know what this means for the future of Nintendo's consoles and stuff, but yeah, might not even be like next year, it could even be the year after, which is, you know, a little bit worrying, but still something that could potentially happen. Moving on, we have this little update from Pokemon Go for all you Pokemon Go fans out there. Pokeexperto tweeting out saying the description of the new version of Pokemon Go on the Samsung store mentions a limited research event for Valentine's Day that has not been officially announced yet. So if you are a fan of Pokemon Go, you do play it still, yeah, you can be looking forward to some sort of Valentine's event and stuff. We already know we're getting a Valentine's raid in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, which is the Tandem Mouse event, which is a couple of weeks away now, I think. So yeah, it looks like they're going to be doing Valentine events in other games as well. And then finishing things off, we do have this Uri Geller thing. So basically, also tweeted out by Pokeexperto saying the famous illusionist and attention seeker named Uri Geller has confirmed the collection of Pokemon cards 151. So this was rumored. We spoke about it quite recently in videos saying, you know, there's new TCG sets coming. It's like a Pokemon Scarlet and Violet expansion. It's going to have all 151 original Pokemon in it, and then it's going to be like a Venusaur and a Blastoise set, which could have rumored us to believe that we were going to get Venusaur and Blastoise back in Scarlet and Violet, which potentially could still be a possibility. Either way, Pokemon cards 151, which will include cards from all Kanto Pokemon. Among them would be Kadabra, Pokemon that has not had a card since 2002 due to a legal dispute with Pokemon. So yeah, Uri Geller in 2020 was like, all right, fair play, you know, I've been a bit of a dick about it, so you can have Kadabra back, and now they are going to be making a Kadabra card for the first time since 2002, which is kind of crazy. Over 20 years ago, we have not had a Kadabra card, which I didn't even realize. But yeah, so I think it's going to be quite a rare card as well. The first Kadabra card in 20 years. I think it's going to be one of the rarer cards in the set, even though it's probably just going to be an uncommon. I think they should go all out and make it like a Kadabra OR and stuff, just because it is a celebration that it is back. But either way, that is going to be everything for today's video. What are your thoughts on the latest rumor for the Generation 9 games? And then, yeah, what are your thoughts on everything else that we covered today? But yeah, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, drop a like, leave a comment, subscribe if you're brand new, or ring the notification bell. It's everything from me. Have a fantastic rest of your day. And until next time, peace.